Hello there. Today we are going to look at Flutter interfaces, some of the basic stuff, just moving things around in an app, getting stuff positioned the way you want it to be. Later on in the course, we're going to focus a lot more on the actual things that are going to go in there, whether it's data or pictures or so on and so forth. But before you can really even get to that point, what you do need to have is a comfortable grasp of how to position things on the screen. And that's what we're going to be handling today. So in this video, I'm just going to go over a few of the really basic interface widgets. So that's going to be things like rows and containers and columns and so on. And how you can get them to work inside of your app. So before anything, I've already built the basic project one where click the button and it adds numbers, adds increments over time. What you're going to get used to is every time you build one of these Flutter projects, you make the same screen, and you probably want to just get rid of all the stuff that doesn't need to be in here. So we're going to toss away these giant paragraphs of comments. Doesn't need to be here. Doesn't need to be here. We're not actually going to need the button with the counting, so we're going to get rid of that too. So that's going to be the increment counter method, the counter variable itself. We don't need that. Also, that's going to mess up our the things that are in the app, specifically the button that's here and the number. So let's get rid of the number. That's this part. And this floating action button, which you can have one of per screen. We're going to get rid of that. I mean, we could leave it on here if you really want to, and instead of having increment counter as the thing that happens when you press it, you can just do parentheses braces just to indicate no function actually runs. But we also don't need to be here, so we can just get rid of it. More comments. We don't need that. Comments. Don't need that. Or that. Or that. Now you notice some of these look like they're comments, but they're not. So app bar, for instance, there actually isn't text here that says app bar. I can't modify this, and this is here because you'll notice over time that as you start building these chains of widgets within widgets, it's really, really helpful to be able to see, for instance, that this line is the closing line of the text, this line is the closing line of this widget, this line is the close of the column, this is the close of the center, and so on and so forth. So in fact, we're actually going to get rid of, I think, the stuff that's over here too. I don't think we need this all this stuff. I'm just going to delete everything. Make the body of our app just basically nothing. We're going to minimize what's here. And from here, we're going to start building up our a little interface. We're going to put some like symbol boxes and circles and things on the screen, and then see how that goes. So where should I begin? I guess where I'm going to begin is let's start with building. I guess the simplest thing to build is a row. So let's build a row. Now, if I want to make a function, I usually tend to put them just at the bottom down here. And we're going to make a function that returns a widget, which is going to have a row of stuff. So we'll call this build row widget. No parameters. It's just going to return a row. And what's going to be in that row, let's keep things simple for the moment and just put a box in. Or maybe let's put two boxes in just so that we can kind of see what this looks like. So inside of our row. Now, anytime that you're working with widgets, it's very, it can be very easy to forget what exactly goes within some of these parameters. So you usually just want to mouse over and take a look at what's here. In particular, the one that's most important here is the one mandatory thing that you need to have, which is children. So you'll notice here that I can have a list of children, which are the things that are going to go into a row on my app. And we're going to put some boxes in there. And each of those boxes is a container. And container is just a fancy word for box. So we're going to have, I guess, two containers. We'll make them like similar. Each container is going to have a different color. We'll make one of them red. I'll make one of them blue. Sure. Let's just keep things simple for now, and I want to compile this as quickly as I can, just so that I can show you something. So I can show you things, right? So there's our first container, and then we're going to have a second container. Let's select this properly. There we go. Oop. That's not what I wanted. There we go. And sometimes your formatting gets all wacky. It's not too hard, I think, to... Where's the an option here to auto indent lines. There we go. Nice and neat. Always good to have neat code so you can see what the heck you're doing. We'll make one of these blue so that we can distinguish them. All right, let's rebuild this and see what it looks like. Probably would help to call this function, huh? Let's put it in our code over here. There we go. Nope, still messing stuff up right now. So, let's see. I make a row. Maybe the containers need to have some dimension to them. I guess let's try that. So width 80. See if that does anything. There we go. You need to actually see something on the screen. Probably because it had no width. I guess it was just drawing like really thin lines that I couldn't see. But okay, here's where we start, right? We got two boxes, red box, blue box. They go all the way down the screen because I haven't indicated a height. So let's give them a height so that they actually are, box-like. Sure, 80 by... Let's do one 80 by 80 and do one 80 by 50, just so that they look a little different. Okay, so there you go. Got one box, one little rectangle. We can, shift these around a little bit. In fact, maybe let's just add a couple more so we can, see what these things look like. We'll do one that's 50 by 80, so it's the other dimensions. And it'll be green. Build that. There you go. Red box, blue box, green box. Off to a good start. Okay. Something I should mention is how did I actually call this function? So I think I may have not gone through all of this code just yet to show how everything is working, but your app is sort of the top level here, the root of your application. From there, by default, as soon as your code is run, the build function here is executed, which returns an app, the app that you're making, and the home page of your app is your home page, which in this case, let's give an actual name, which is, say, basic layout. Now, in my basic layout, which is my home page, the class is a stateful widget, meaning that things can change, and this should affect the appearance of my homepage as I get data or anything like that. Probably not going to have to worry too much about that in this exercise because we're just positioning boxes on a screen, but later on you will probably have variables that change in here and so on, stuff that needs to be updated. Whereas my app, just the app itself, is stateless. All it's going to do is build itself and create the stateful widget as its homepage. Now, your homepage, the stateful widget, is going to have a state. And my homepage state, this class here, is the one where we're actually putting things together. This is where things are happening, so to speak. And now, so here, there's already actually a couple of widgets that we've already got here without even making any, just as part of the default project. One of them is Scaffold. Scaffold is kind of just you can think of as the screen here, the things that you are seeing. Scaffold includes things like, if you look at this giant list here, there's an app bar, there's a drawer, like a thing you can pull from the side of the screen. There's a bottom navigation bar if you want it. All kinds of stuff that you can add on here if you want to, like the floating action button that we got rid of. But by default, none of it is there unless you actually put it in. Now, the app bar is there as part of the default package, the default project, which is the the blue thing across the top that has the little title here. And I think if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to change the color of it, I think I can do that, right? Background color, let's try it. Background color, colors. Let's say I want to make it a red app bar just for fun. Does that work? There we go. Look at that red app bar. You'll notice, in fact, even the top here has actually changed. When I had it as blue, you'll notice that not only did the rectangle that contains basic layout change, but even the little top here that connects to my other services has also been modified. But it's there if you want it. And it's sort of just like a good lesson for any widget that you're working with. Is it's a very good idea sometimes just to hover over and see what kinds of things you can mess around with. I could add a shadow color in here. I could change the shape of some stuff. There's all things that you can modify if you really want to. And the best way to learn this kind of stuff is honestly to play around with it. Okay, so I got a title. We're gonna make it the title thing green just for fun. And the body here, this is sort of the main part of your page, all the stuff you see in white, can be, again, any widget you want. In this case, I chose to make a row. So when I made the row, it's literally putting a row on the screen. The height of each box in here is just the height that I've set them to be. But in general, the row expands to cover as much space as it needs to, which in this case is just going to be this area right here. If I got rid of the height of one of the tallest things, say I got rid of the red box's height, then what you're going to see is that it's going to reposition the row so that the row now fills up the entire screen. However, these two are going to be centered and only going to have the height that they're listed to have. But this is useful because we can sort of play around a little bit with alignment to see how to position things on the screen. So putting this back to up at the top here, let's do a little bit of alignment shifting. Now let's say that I want to where's my row? Row is up here. So two of the properties of row that you have to work with are main axis alignment and cross axis alignment. And this really just means, do you want to have things centered in terms of, right here you can see that my row is on the left side of the screen, right? Maybe I want to have it in the middle. So if I'm not mistaken, this should be main axis alignment, center, I believe should do this. And again, main axis alignment is something that Flutter recognizes. You don't have to type the whole thing. You can just start typing it and it will tell you. But this should do what I want, right? Yeah, there we go. Now it's centered. Suppose I want them, with the boxes, some space around them. Can literally write space around. Spaced around them. Can do space evenly. I think space evenly and space around are pretty similar. Or, I could do, where is it, end? And toss them on the other side, And in addition to main axis alignment, we have cross axis alignment. So let's set that one as, well, actually, first let's go back with no main axis alignment, just so we can see what it looks like. So again, default. Cross axis alignment, capital C. Let's say we do center, or I think it is centered by default. Let's say we do start. So notice here the blue box, which was centered before. If I comment this out, you see the blue box is centered right here. If I want it to be on the top of the row, then I can say cross-axis alignment start, and then it shifts it up to the top, or I can put it at the bottom with end. And so the alignment we're talking about here is, objects that are positioned inside of your row. Do you want them up, or do you want them down, or so on? Remember, this is a row across the screen. And you can play around with this cross-axis alignment as you choose. Is there anything else I want to show for row? I don't think so. I think that's basically sufficient. And again, always a good idea to play around a little bit with this as you like to. So we built a row. Let's and just for fun, if you ever want to encase a widget inside something else, it's actually usually as easy as highlighting it, right click, show context actions if you're in Android Studio, and you can say something like, wrap with container. And as soon as I do that, it literally writes the code for you that just says make a container, and the child of that container is the widget that you highlighted, and it adds all the appropriate, brackets and stuff. And now, I don't think it'll look any different actually. Maybe I can, adjust the height. Let's say I want the height to be 80. And that probably should move this. Maybe not. Might be the case that the container doesn't actually shift this anywhere. But that's okay. Maybe you just want your row to be a row, But let's move on to trying another widget, and we'll go with column next time. You got rows, you got columns. So let's make build column widget. And so remember that this type here is optional. We don't really have to specify it, but we are planning to return a column here. Okay, and what's going to go in our column? Let's put some little pretty Flutter logos just for fun. So again, children is going to be usually the default thing that you start writing about when you write about any of these kind of like container type widgets. And children of this one, let's make some Flutter logos. So Flutter logo is again just an object in Flutter, and it will paint the logo for you. Now, let's, out of curiosity, let's actually just see what happens if I build my column widget right now. Just gonna return the Flutter logo. That's it. Let's see what we get. Hey, okay, that's real tiny. So let's make it a little bigger. How to make it bigger? Size. There's a size parameter. Very nice. So size equals 100. Make it real chunky. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, Flutter logo. Cool. Now, if I make a bunch of Flutter logos, space them out, put a column in there. Flutter logo, Flutter logo, Flutter logo. It should make a column of these. Line them up. There we go. Good stuff. You can also change. What else can we change for the Flutter logo? We got size. We got color. We got style. I don't know what duration is for. That seems kind of weird. I don't think text color will change much just because there's no text on this one, but maybe different versions of the Flutter logo might have text. Let's try changing some of the styles. So let's say we make this one style, Flutter logo styles. Anytime that you're, again, looking for these widgets, usually autocomplete will help you out a lot with this one. And if you're unsure, if you want like really more detail, you can always click on documentation and pull it up. So when I pull up documentation, let's see here. Oh wait, no, that's an error documentation. That's not documentation I want. Give me a Flutter logo style. What is the problem here? Oh, it's because I need to choose a Flutter logo style. It looks like there's a couple that are listed for me here. So let's try to do stacked, for example. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. Look at that. Now we got text and we got the symbol here, so I can adjust this kind of thing. Now, if I do want, I think there's a way. There should be a way to get to the Dart package. Am I gonna click on that? No. Yep. I mean, worst case, just Google it, right? Yeah, you unsure about any of these widget types, you can Google it. I go open Google Flutter logo style doc. Let me see here. I'll probably should pull it over so you can see what I'm doing, right? There we go. So Flutter logo class. I got all the properties you could use, all the methods that you're looking for. Sometimes there's like really good documentation. This one's got a video, which is a little extra, more than you would probably expect. But pretty much any of the like information that you could possibly need about something is here. And if you look hard enough, you can probably find some sample code that might show you how to use, for instance, Flutter logo class. Anyway, so more importantly, we are playing around with the styles. So let's make some more styles. Flutter com mode help. Logo style dot. Let's try horizontal. Let's try Flutter logo style dot mark only. Sure, that one only has mark. Okay, so I guess the default is mark only, it looks like, because they appear to be the same. Okay, let's resize these a little bit because they're still kind of small, and I'll just delete the last one. Make these a little bigger because I want to see them. There we go, nice and chunky. And I think we were able to change the text color, right? Something like that. Flutter logo, or it was on, yeah. Oh, it's all complaining to me because it doesn't like that I'm not using constants for the parameters when I probably should. Text color, let's see if we can set the text color. Text color, colors dot, what's gonna show up? I guess red would show up. There we go, look at that, red. So, just playing around a little bit. I feel like a lot of this course ends up coming down to just sort of playing around with things, seeing how everything moves around the screen, trying to figure out, what does what. And that's why the hot restart is so helpful. Less than a second for me to just rebuild everything is always nice. Okay, anything else I want to show with columns, or am I happy? I think that I'm good. Yeah, just pulling up my notes, which I have closed somehow, and I don't remember where I put them. To reopen them? Oh, there we go. Okay, no, I think that's everything. Oh, sorry, axis alignment. Axis alignment's always good to go over. So, let me shrink these down again, just so we can see how the axis works with columns. Okay. Oops, it's a property of column. It's the main axis alignment. So right now, again, we have everything just like top left allocated and goes straight down as far as it needs to go and no more. So if I wanted to be centered, which I might, do main axis alignment dot center. Now it'll actually center the column on the screen. There we go. You can probably imagine cross axis alignment is going to be making things go the other way. So if I really want this to be centered, cross axis alignment dot center, I can actually have this column centered on the screen. Actually, no, that's not what it does. Cross axis alignment is centered within the column. So right now, all my stuff in the column all has the same size because it's all boxes. Let's actually take the this one and we're going to shrink it down so it's not the same size as everybody else. Let's make it 50. We'll comment this out for a second. Okay, so now I get the really small one here, which I think defaults to center. So now if I do cross-axis alignment start, it should push it to the left, as it does. And then end, I imagine, will go the other way. Look at that. Now I think, so here's sort of the question, maybe we'll try to solve this little puzzle right here, is that my column right now is left aligned. Okay, it's not actually in the middle of the screen. What if I want my column in the middle of the screen? How do I do that? I guess we're gonna, we're gonna find out together. I think the way to do it is to put it in a container, and then to have that centered. But let's find out. Okay, so say I wrap this in a container, and I have the main axis. Is there an alignment? There's an alignment, right? Center. Whoop. This should do it, I think. We'll find out. Oh, look at that, magic. Not really magic. So the container is, the box around what we're looking at, right? And our column right here originally was just, that was the thing that was being put on the screen, is a single column. And by default, the column is left aligned. And we can use main axis alignment to decide if we want to center it like up or down or something like that, and cross axis alignment to take smaller things within and shift them around the column, but it doesn't actually move the column itself. We want to position the column somewhere on the screen. We have to wrap it in a box, and then we take that box and we use the alignment of that to position our column right in the middle. So there we go. Didn't take too long to figure out, huh? Not so bad. Okay, let's wrap things up with one more type of widget that we're going to build, and that's going to be a stack. So we're going to make a build stack widget. Build stack widget. Call it that for fun. And this is going to return a stack. Not to be confused with like the programming concept of stacks, like push and pop kind of thing. This is literally if you want an object with another object on top of it, with another object on top of it, and so on, as far as you feel like going. So let's, again, try to keep this as simple as possible at first, and then we can build stuff up on it after. So if we want to make a stack, we're going to have some children. It's going to be things on top of each other. Just, I guess we'll start with some boxes, because boxes are an easy way to start. I'll make a container. Let's make our container have a color so we can see it. Say red. Then we'll have another container, and we'll make that container smaller, so you can see the thing on top of the other thing. Green, and it'll show up. In order to make this work, I think I need size, height and width maybe. Width and height, sure. So first one's going to be 200 by 200. Second one's going to be 100 by 100. And what we should see here, if we did this right, is a box on another box. I'm going to take this, put it over here, so we actually build the stack. Let's check it out. Hey, look at that. So once again, we got a stack of things. We got, I guess I can, if you really want to stack them up, you can throw some more on there. Shrink it even smaller. 10. A real tiny little blue dot in the top left. That's way too small. I can't see that. Okay, we'll go 50. There we go. So blue box, green box, red box. It's just a stack of things. Now, obviously this is not very satisfying because first off, again, left aligned. Second of all, it's none of these boxes are really centered correctly amongst each other. So again, this is where we might want to center some stuff. Now, is there an alignment thing here? It looks like it, yeah. So let's suppose I want to align alignment dot center, just out of curiosity, see what happens. Look at that, aligns everything nicely. And now, bear in mind that you can also like mix and match these kinds of things up, right? Like the children of each stack doesn't have to be a box. I could put a stack as the child of one of these things, right? So mixing and matching up these widgets is something you're going to kind of want to get used to. I could, for instance, let's say I want to have a column of stacks, which you can definitely do. All I'd have to do over here is so I got my build stack widget. I can just build stack widget for each thing in my columns. So right now I have all these Flutter logos, but instead I could just say, is this right? Yeah, I think so. So let's say I can just make a bunch of stack widgets. Stack, 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 and we'll call the build column widget over here. Now let's see what it should do. What I think it does. Look at that. This is just making, again, a column, and now the column is a column of stacks. Mixing and matching things up. I could even have probably a row of these if I wanted to. And this is where we, you start to actually get into really user interface design, is that you really want to have in your head a picture of what everything's going to look like, so that when you are trying to put everything on the screen together, you want to be conceptualizing, okay, is this going to be a column? Is this going to be a row? Is this going to be a stack? Those are, I think, probably the biggest three when it comes to trying to figure out what things are going where. I guess stack is kind of less critical, but it's still good to know because stack is very useful so that you can make sure that you're stacking the right things on top of one another. I think if I were to change the order of this, like if I put the green one above, I think that what will happen, and I guess we can verify, is that the green one will appear underneath, and so you won't actually see it. Is that correct? Yeah, see, so now you can't see it because the size of the green one is smaller than the red one. So the order in which you put the children in the stack is going to specifically be from bottom to top. So let's put that back where it should be. Okay, so now I got my little stack. Let's make it look a little nicer. Instead of boxes, we can do some fun stuff. So let's make this a circle avatar, kind of like when you're on like Google, like Gmail, and you have somebody sends you a message, but they don't have a profile picture. It just sends you like a little ball with their initials in it. Let's make one. So radius 200 to make it like the same size. We'll make the background color is going to be red, so it's still red. And we're going to give it a child. And so notably, instead of children, since I have just a circle, it can only have one child, which is the thing in the circle. In this case, we'll make it some text. Text also, very simple widget, just takes a string, puts text on the screen. So let's say I want to put my initials. Okay, everything seems to have exploded because my radius is way too big, so let's shrink my radius down to a little fraction of the size. So you can already see there's like gigantic error messages here. Overflowing, desperation, bad things. And on my, make sure I adjusted my screen properly. Yeah. Oh, interesting. It seems, oh yeah, it just auto loaded for me. You can, you could see, I guess when I put the 200 here, there's this little construction sign here. And that basically means that the app wanted to show more stuff, but it can't because your layout is like too crappy. Let's actually remove some of these containers here just so I can see my little button appear the way I want it to. Oh, okay. Yeah, the size of things here is not quite the way I want it to be. Let's resize some stuff. So first, let's shrink our little blobs. Okay, it's a little better. Is still kind of small, so I believe we can modify our text. What the parameter that I want for that one? I believe text scale factor. So text scale factor. This takes a double. Sure. Let's triple the size. There we go. Now we got some blobs there. Yeah, I mean, if you really want, I can take this text, I can wrap it in a container. Let's do that for fun. Wrap this in a container. The child is going to be that. Let's do some decorations. Oops. Again, just spacing things out so I can read what the heck I'm doing here. Decoration. Let's make a little pretty box to go around it because we can. And this takes a color, I think, right? Yeah, color. What's gonna show up okay here? I guess we'll do. Can I do lime? Is that like something that will show up? Or light? Yeah, lime. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, that's like miserable to look at. Let's change the text color so that it'll appear over the lime. Is that a parameter of text? It should be, right? I think it'd be style, and then I have to build a style for it. Let's just make this a different color. Say a dark green. Are there dark greens? Blue-gray. That'll show up, I think. There we go. Look at that. Box around the text. I guess we can shrink the text a little bit in case we want to play around with that. Actually, you know what? Here, let's make everything bigger. We're going to make the circle bigger. We're going to make the text a little bigger. There we go. Okay, more space to play around with stuff. And let's... should we do any more with this? I suppose we can. I think a good idea might be to do some padding. So where can I inject some of that? So right now my stack has the circle, and that's it. So let's stack something else on this. Let's stack another container, and in that container, let's make some text, child text. I'll just have my name, I guess. And let's do some padding. So padding, putting space from the left or the right. Well, first let's do no padding. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so clearly that's not really helpful because it's right on the center, which is way too hard to see. So let's make this a bit bigger by adding a style to it. So I need a style is text style. Text style is going to have its own parameters, which are font size to make it nice and big. I can probably leave it black for now. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that's definitely not big. Let's do 70. Okay, now I got some big me's. All right. And right now, let's try putting some padding and see what happens. So, padding, edge insets. So this is, again, like putting actual space in here. Let's start with all, I don't know, 10. No, I don't think it's actually going to show what I want. I think what I need to do is I think that I need to have a decoration around the box so we can kind of see where this is actually doing. So let's try making a decoration, just like the other one. Where was it? Box decoration. Yeah. Make a different color. Yellow. Sure. Okay, yeah, we'll take it for now, I guess. And let's see if we can do padding now. So right now I got my container. Let's put the text of me in the container as well. Whoop. And put me in a box, despite my complaints. And padding. edge insets dot what was the parameters for this? I just forget the syntax. Only, that's what I was looking for. Only. I only want to be from the left by 50. Let's start by not having this, just so I can make sure it looks like what I think it's going to look like. Oh yeah, I didn't change anything. So then padding. There we go. Okay, this is what I was looking for. So, very often you'll want to have the size of the box not be the exact same size as the thing that's within it, right? So in this case, what my issue was I wanted to have a box that's bigger than just my name inside of it, because the size of the container, just like the size of the column and the size of the row, is constrained specifically to the size of whatever is inside. So if I don't have padding here, then the box is as big as my name. But I can add padding from any side. I can even do that to all the sides if I feel like it. Sorry, not left, just all the sides. And look at that, now I've added extra padding, extra space from the box containing my name on the outsides, giving myself extra space. And you can use edge insets.all. You can make it symmetrical. The baseline, I guess, way to do it is only, and then with only you can specify what you want for left, right, up, down, so on. Symmetrical lets you do it evenly, horizontally, and symmetrically, vertically as well. So I can do 5, I guess. Sure. So now you can see they're all symmetrical. I can modify this, get a little more, and that way it goes left and right the same amount. You can just also do only and then left this much, right this much, but you get the idea, I think. Anyway, so now I have my name in a box. The box is spaced the way I want it to. Box decoration here I just wanted to have so that I could actually see the box, because if you don't have any box decoration, like if I comment this out, oops, not all of that, just this part. If I comment this out, hold up, what am I missing? Child is a child of. This is a child of the box decoration. This is so hard to see right now because all the stuff is not not lined up properly. I didn't even fix it. Disappointing. Okay, that's part of color. Oh, I see. Okay, no, box decoration is the box with the text inside of it. Okay. So yeah, if I didn't have box decoration and I just had this being part of the container, so I think it's like this. Should maybe fix the code. Oh no, sorry. I need to do this. And get rid of, should have to get rid of a parentheses somewhere, right? Container, maybe not. But now the box is still there, you just can't actually see it. So ideally you want to actually be able to see the box that you're working around, so that you can figure out where these edge insets are going to actually be, because otherwise it's really, really hard to see how things are shifting around the screen. You can always get rid of the decoration later if you want to. And kind of the most important thing is just being able to figure out how do you want it positioned on the screen and what are the methods you need to push things around. And so hopefully this code here is a nice starting point just to give you some familiarity with how to put rows and columns and stacks of things, use cross-axis and main-axis alignment to shift everything around. And I think that's probably the most I'm going to go over in this video. So next time we can start digging into different kinds of lists of stuff. Maybe I'll touch on the drawer you can pull out from the side, or the bottom navigation bar. Lots of things we can delve into here, but I think this is probably a good place to stop for now, and I'll see you guys in class.